Hello, welcome back. Thank you, as always, for joining me. We're going to talk today about relaxing and trusting, learning to relax and trust, which we find so difficult. We really do. Now, you may say that you have moments where this comes easier for you than other times, and that may well be. That, in fact, informs pretty much all of our experience here in the world, is we have our moments. We have our moments where things seem to be going rather smoothly and beautifully and fluidly and well. And then we have those moments where it does not seem to be working at all, right? And we wonder why we're even investing our time in such stuff, because it clearly isn't doing the trick. Having one of those days today. We all have them on the path. So whether you are or whether you are not, there is a lesson in this conversation for you from our inner teacher. Relaxing and trusting in the guidance of our inner teacher is central to A Course in Miracles. It really, really, truly is. And I would go so far as to say that it's central to all of spirituality, regardless of the tradition. Whatever the outward form looks like, built into every practice, every tradition, every modality is a relaxing and trusting component. So, in this regard, A Course in Miracles is no different. So, what does the Course tell us about this? What does the Course recommend and suggest that we do? Well, let's discuss. We learn to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. If you're new to A Course in Miracles, the Holy Spirit, should we allow it, directs our forgiveness. Your inner teacher will show you what to do. He will give you the words to say in your mind to forgive everything that crosses your path that is not wholly joyous. That is an opportunity for forgiveness. He'll direct it if only you'll let him. There is a tremendous allowing factor here. It is an integral part of the practice. Allowing our inner teacher to run the show. Let him decide for you. We think here in the world that we have to make all of our decisions by ourselves. In fact, we perceive ourselves as isolated and alone. And as a result of this perception, we see everybody else as equally isolated and alone, and we see ourselves competing for what we deem to be scarce resources here on this spinning ball of rock, and we suffer. To put it quite bluntly, all suffering stems from the mistaken perception of separation. We think we've separated from God. We have not. That is, in truth, impossible. Impossible. There is no separation of any kind. One equals one. There is only perfect oneness. Not every spiritual tradition says this in these exact words. But, well, this video series is about A Course in Miracles, which does. Welcome. We're not separate. We're not isolated, though we may really feel like it a lot of the time. And perhaps you're having the experience right now today of feeling incredibly isolated and alone. Perhaps you're having one of those moments that we all have on the spiritual path where it feels like this isn't working, and you may be asking yourself why you're doing this in the first place. Go to the next tradition because there's always another one. And yet here you are. So when something lands or makes an impact on you, it's your inner teacher talking. We'd all do very, very well to listen to its message. Now, our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, goes by many names. You may call your inner teacher Mike, Sue, Betty, your guide or guides. I mean, call it by many different names, a council if you wish. Those are all simply names, so let's not get hung up on those. They're simply collections of sounds that we've gotten together and ascribed meaning to. And yes, if you're wondering, our own names are exactly the same thing, just a label, a collection of sounds. If you've been through the workbook, this illustrates one of the early workbook lessons that I've given everything I see, everything that appears in the world. I've assigned all the meaning that there is to that. I've given everything all the meaning that it has for me. I assigned it. The actual language of the idea is different, but that's the point, and this is the illustration of that. We undertake our entire journey, our entire practice under the guidance of our inner teacher. When we attempt to decide everything in isolation by ourselves, things go horribly amiss. They may not go astray right away. In fact, you may make a decision today that has short term beautiful consequences for you. You may make a lot of money, or you may succeed at an investment. Those are just examples. You may step on the scale to discover that you've lost weight and you're very pleased and happy about that. Okay. Nothing in this world lasts, and that is because the world is itself illusion. There is no world. Never heard that before? If you've watched these videos, you have. There is no world. We certainly appear to inhabit this world. This appears real. In fact, it's a pixelated image on your screen. This appears real. Yet we all know that it's not who we really are. The Son of God is not fallible. The body, totally fallible. In fact, it goes bye-bye, doesn't it? No matter how much time we like to spend in life denying that, this is not our home. I mean, we may experience periods in our lives, decades even, maybe the entire thing, where we really want it to be true, but it's still not true. Truth simply is and continues to be true. Truth is true, despite our mad wanderings. We are not separate from our brother. We are not separate from God. We're known throughout this course as the Son, singular, of God. The term Son of God does not refer only to the historical Jesus. We're all the Son of God. Does this register? Maybe this resonates with you. It did me when I first encountered this material. I had one of those experiences that you may have had on the path. And if you have not, perhaps you will very soon, maybe today. Eventually, you will have a lot of them of, oh, yeah, I knew that. I always knew that. Yeah, we're all the Son of God. Yes, we're known also here in the Course as the thought of God. And thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. An oft quoted passage from the Course reads exactly like this: ideas leave not their source. Oh, and feel welcome to capitalize the S. We are the thought of God. We have not left the mind of God. Where are you? And what are you? Who are you? Hmm? Yeah. Allow yourself to go there, even if it's only for a couple of seconds. And if that's what you've got today, so be it. Allow yourself to go there again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Allow yourself to be led by your inner teacher who will show you what to do to forgive the Son of God, to forgive the world, the ego, which is nothing, space, time, the separation itself, it's nothing either. Forgive and release under the guidance of your inner teacher. We attempt to do everything on our own. We think we have to make all of these decisions in isolation by ourselves. They don't go well. Sometimes it blows up right in our face. And even if we have a period of time where things go very smoothly, it doesn't last. Of ourselves, deciding by ourselves, we cannot guarantee the maximum beneficial good for every single living thing throughout space and time, can we? But our inner teacher can. Wouldn't you at least want to entertain giving him the reins? Kind of like the popular saying, Jesus, take the wheel. You may have heard that. It's quite a popular saying here in the United States. Jesus, take the wheel. Well, yeah, right? He won't wreck the car and he won't run over anyone. It won't run out of gas. It won't get a flat tire. Just saying. We try to do it all ourselves, we might get road rage. Or we may not see someone when we're turning. We may get into an accident. We may run out of fuel. Hmm, they won't. That idea is quite useful, isn't it? We cannot assure the maximum possible good and benefit to every single living thing throughout space and time when we attempt to make decisions by ourselves. What do we then do? We say to the Holy Spirit, to our inner teacher, decide for me. This may be scary to you, especially if you're encountering this idea for the first time or the second or third time, if it's newer. We're not giving our power away. The Holy Spirit is part of our mind. You'll notice that I refer to it repeatedly as our inner teacher, inner, emphasis on inner, that part of our mind that knows who and what we are. that will help us, that will decide for us, if only we let it. So, are you willing to allow this? We relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. Madness, separation, may be our choice, but it is not our reality. We are not separate. This is a dream. All of this and this is a dream. We could choose to awaken. That is why enlightenment, by the way, is called awakening. Yeah, it's waking up from the dream, the nightmare, honestly, of separation. We do it under the guidance of our inner teacher. And each and every day, we learn to relax and trust his guidance. His judgment does not go astray. He simply looks past all of our BS, call it that if you want to, right? And our drama to the essence of who and what we really are. Why wouldn't we want him to decide for us? We're not giving our power away to an outside force. There is no outside force. There is no one out there separate from you. There's no one out there. We've chosen to see ourselves as separate. We could choose to see perfect oneness instead. Perhaps today is the day where this really hits home for you. So we learn the central lesson of spirituality to relax and trust our inner teacher's guidance. He will tell you what to do in any situation. He will tell you what to say, will put ideas in your mind. If you don't believe it, that's quite all right. That is an integral part of the spiritual path. Doubt, because we're flooded with it, aren't we? It's why we are having this conversation, apparently. It's why we appear to be here, because of this confusion and doubt, which we're invited to set aside. Moment to moment, we learn to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. And again, the Holy Spirit is part of you. It's part of you. It's not outside you. Please do not allow that thought to stop you any longer. So we relax and trust. Trust enough to allow the Holy Spirit to guide you in the first place and continue to develop this trust that you'll be told precisely what to do, to think, to say, how to act, what to say and to whom, where to go, if anywhere. All of that, you'll be directed. How will you know it's the Holy Spirit? You will know. The Holy Spirit speaks to us in many ways. Not everyone is going to hear a voice in their head, an audible voice in a language that they understand, though that is one possibility. You may get an intuitive hit, something that you just know. It simply rings true. It's a deep inner knowing that, count on it, is your inner teacher. Anything that is doubtful is not. That is the ego. That's this little voice on your shoulder saying, yeah, go back to the couch. This guy's full of it. This course, yeah, no, you don't need this. You don't need this. Yeah, go back to the way things were. You were happy, right? Right? Of course not, or you wouldn't be on the spiritual path. We come to recognize that the things of this world cannot possibly content us in the end. Not saying don't enjoy what you have here in the world. If you have money, fantastic. If you have excellent physical health, fantastic. A romantic partnership that's loving and supportive and what people aspire to in the world, sure. Yeah, no problem. Nobody's saying give any of that up. In fact, what we're saying is give all of that over to your inner teacher and let him run the show. Let him run your business, your relationship. You'll still make money. You'll still be loved. There is nothing but love. So we learn moment to moment to relax and trust our inner teacher's guidance. And if we don't, we're attempting to go it alone, which we've all been doing. You're here because you've heard our inner teacher's call to awaken. This is universal, it's constant, it goes out to everyone all the time. The question, of course, is who's listening? Are you? At one point, you most certainly were. Out of all the content that's available on social media, you're watching this particular channel on YouTube, which tells me unequivocally that you've heard the call more than once, that you are consciously aware of the call more than once, and you've answered it more than once. So for that, we all thank you. It's more important than perhaps you know, and perhaps you don't give yourself nearly enough credit, enough props. It's huge. So keep answering, keep forgiving the Son of God, and keep saying to your inner teacher, decide for me. I trust your guidance. You are my teacher. Relax and trust. Thank you. So, having watched up to this point, for which I thank you as well, it's quite common that questions will arise. This is the spiritual path, after all. What is that but a process of deep self inquiry? So, to the extent that questions have arisen on this or any other video or any other topic related to spirituality or A Course in Miracles, please feel welcome to ask. These videos, by the way, are designed not only for course students, although it is exclusively about A Course in Miracles and not anything else. That is the subject matter of these videos. There are many traditions, and you may find yourself directed to this video because it was recommended to you by YouTube's algorithm or something like that. You don't have to be a course student to benefit from this because A Course in Miracles is a self-study curriculum. It is not a religion. It is not exclusive. It's all-inclusive. It's for everyone, regardless of tradition or traditions that you were raised in, if any, or what you currently practice, if anything. There are plenty of people that choose to adopt A Course in Miracles as their primary practice, as their focal point of their spiritual journey. You may or may not choose to do that, but whether you do or don't, or whether you practice A Course in Miracles or use its principles and ideas to illuminate your walk in another tradition that is quite common, actually. So, however you take this material, my purpose in offering these videos several times a week is to help bring some simplicity and clarity and hopefully some understanding of the ideas that this course puts forth. And even more than that, to inspire you to put them into practice. So, questions are most welcome. So are your subscriptions. So, if you have not subscribed, please do so. This is the prompt in the corner of your screen. Just click that arrow or hover over that, and you'll be invited to subscribe and join us. To those of you who have recently joined us, thank you. And if you wish to be notified every time a new video drops here, which is several times a week, then click that bell icon that controls your notifications in YouTube. So that's something that you could choose to do too. Okay, questions if you've got them, please. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you all very soon.